Have you been doing your planning and creation of your youth ministry calendars all wrong this whole time? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to share with you the 5 levels to create a solid youth ministry calendar, the one that will rule them all. While most don't make it past level 1, you should stick around to the end of the video and see the whole thing, because I reveal at the end the one trick that I've started adding to all of my calendars that it solves the communication problem once and for all. Oh, and plus there's a free calendar link down below in the YouTube video or the podcast description. Welcome everyone to the Hybrid Ministry Show. Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Hybrid Ministry Show. I am your host, Nick Clayson, excited to be with you as we're talking through the 5 levels of a youth ministry calendar creation. And the reason we're doing this because we're actually, we are and have been in a playlist where we've been discussing different questions that I have come across on different youth pastor Facebook groups. And today, this one, I have a question that says, hey everyone, I'm looking for examples of an at-a-glance calendar that highlight your major annual events. Pictures, please. You don't need to include spontaneous or smaller events, just the main ones that plan each year. And so we're going to be looking at what I have been passing out historically, and how we've tried to not only solve the communication problem, but it also helps with our visitors and all that sort of thing. So actually, there's a carefully curated playlist with all of those elements, calendar discussions, and a welcome box that we have, and communication issues, linked right here, top of the video. Go ahead and check it out on YouTube. But step number 1 is you need to have, and this is the one that most skip, but you need to have a reputable website. Okay, because if you want a quote, as this question says, an at-a-glance calendar, then you need to have a website that is actually up to date, that when people don't have the information that they need from your calendar, they know where they can go and what they should do. In fact, everyone in our student ministry knows and understands that like the calendar doesn't exist with this piece of literature that they're bringing home. This is, again, as the question asks, this is high level. This is simply highlights. This isn't every single thing. Now, I've seen calendars designed with every single thing, the entire calendar for the year, but like that is not what we pass out, and I'm going to share multiple different reasons why. But one of the reasons is because our website handles a lot of the rest of the stuff that is going to be needed in order to communicate that. So you need to make sure that you have a website that's actually like navigatable, that's decent, it's a decent guest experience, and it's up to date. The second thing is you want something that's designed well. If you look at the one here on screen, this is one that we are giving away, link down below, the templated, the blank version. This is within our church's approved brand color palette and guide. So like these are the student ministry colors within our church's color palette. So that's the first step of it. The second thing is like when I'm designing it, I typically choose a font or 2 that are like our fonts for the year. And then I'm just gonna be honest, like icons are fun, but like emojis are great. And I try to just like link an emoji to some of the different events that we have. And that does a great job for it. The other thing is like, you'll see off to the side here is like, I also try to create some sort of icon that goes with like the season. So for fall, we've done like coffee cups, or we've done football helmets. For the summer, we've done suns, and in the spring, we've done flowers. And so it gets tricky, especially if you're trying to do different ones and you're like doing them year over year. But you'll see the one linked right here, and you can go ahead and get the templated version linked down below in the description. But you want your design to be something that like feels a little bit familiar but doesn't feel identical, because you don't want them to think, I've already got this. Like they need to understand like, no, this is a new one. Hey, quick break. Let me ask you a question. Are you still waking up every day as a youth pastor scrambling to figure out what you need to post on your social media? Blurry dodgeball pic, a video that your leader sent you that's a little bit pixelated because iPhone still hasn't updated fully to RCS yet. You see, you don't need that kind of stress this fall. That's why I created the fall seasonal social media pack for youth pastors. It is 3 months worth of done for you content. Done for you, paired with some customization so that you and your leaders and your students are the faces and the personalities on your student ministry Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts feed. So here's the thing, you can grab my pack right now over on Patreon. And did you know that monthly Hybrid Hero Patreon members who only pay $4 per month and get a bonus podcast, they get this pack completely for free. So if you do the math, for 3 months worth of social media content, it's only $12, where the pack is $17.99. Either way, it is a steal for you, and it will take away the stress of posting. And you can grab that pack right now and start becoming a master at social media and hybrid ministry in your youth ministry context. Rooting for you as you are crushing it this fall in your student ministry. And another major thing that you're going to want to do here, which is level 3, is you only want to include events that you particularly and specifically choose and want to highlight. You don't want to put every single thing on your calendar. No, you want things that you only want at a high level. And so the way to make it visually appealing, in my opinion and in my book, and to make it small and concise, is to not overwhelm it with information, but to only make it things that are noteworthy for families to know. For example, we a lot of times say, hey, we meet every single Sunday, we meet every single Wednesday. However, these are ones you want to know about, and these are also ones that you want to know that we're not meeting, because we meet every single week. But these in particular, take note, we are not meeting. Additionally, and especially as it pertains to our spring calendar, we will post things about our like winter weekend, and we'll also post save the dates for our summer camp. Communication's already gone out for that by the time this calendar gets in the hands of our students mid-year in like December. But this one is important that it just, it gets on there because it's actually going to happen during this cycle, which I should say for context, we produce 3 calendars per year. We produce a fall one, we produce a spring one, and then we also produce a summer one. And so in light of that, we're pumping out calendars 3 different times per year to get into the hands of students. The 4th level, and this I think is one of the most impressive decisions that I ever stumbled into. I honestly can't even tell you how I stumbled into it. And I would say that this is the key. However, level 5 is a new one that we've recently unlocked, and I think it's even better. But number 4 is we make this design, and then we print this using Sticker Mule. We print this on a magnet. Here's the psychology. Here's my thought behind it, right? Everyone passes out a calendar for the year. There's the sports calendar, there's the academic calendar, and in a lot of cases, there's the youth group calendar. But what I want, and maybe this is just my competitiveness, but I want my calendar to be the thing holding on other calendars, right? If you got your sports calendar, I want the youth calendar to be the thing that is keeping the sports calendar affixed to the fridge. That puts us on top of it. And they're probably going to choose sports over student ministry, but I just like to think in my own head, think about all of these calendars that are on magnets, that are on people's fridges, that are at the top of the line, top of the site. And hopefully they're seeing and remembering and keeping us, again, top of mind. The 5th and final level, which I think is the ultimate, is you'll see here, and you've probably noticed it, is that we actually, and this is helpful because of our website, we build our website and our calendar on our website on the provider of Nucleus. And on Nucleus, what you can do is you can link an .ics, which is an iCal calendar extension. So it's what you'd put in your phone, but it's also a shareable option out of even a Google Calendar. So we create just a Google Calendar. We keep the Google Calendar up to date. That auto populates to our website, right? Which is again, what I said, you want to make sure that your website is up to date. And if people land on your website, that's information is not on your big calendar, your highlight calendar, your magnet calendar, that if they do end up on your website, they're able to obtain the information that they need and that they're looking for. But then we've created a QR code where they can simply subscribe to the calendar in their phones. And so this is, in my opinion, the penultimate, because this makes these at a glance calendars great, but not the most crucial thing. I think a lot of youth pastors treat this calendar as the most crucial thing, but what happens when students don't have access to it? What happens when they lose it? What happens when you give it to them and they accidentally set it down before they get it into the hands of their parents? If a parent can subscribe to our calendar, then they will never miss an event. They'll never miss an update. It will be populated onto the very device and onto the very app that they use to manage and control their entire life, their calendar app. And what a better place than for your youth ministry and your church calendar to be on parents' phones and on students' phones. And so put a QR code, put some sort of link where they can go and they can subscribe to the events. And so all the events are exactly where they're supposed to be and where you ultimately want them to be. At the end of the day, remember, the goal of this is communication so that people know what's going on and that they then also hopefully choose to attend your church and your event and your youth group. The goal in this is not a beautiful calendar. Hopefully we can help you create one. And once again, link down below, free in the podcast or YouTube description. But the goal is communication at its core. And so that fifth and final layer, adding a QR code so that people and parents can subscribe to your church and your youth ministry calendar. Such a game changer. Well, hey everyone, the next episode is linked right here on the screen, as well as the subscribe button. If you found this episode helpful, a payment for this free calendar would be amazing. A like, a subscribe, and share it with a friend. But until next time, and as always, don't forget, stay hybrid.